welcome again to Waterline Writers. And I'd like to introduce our first reader tonight, Lynne Handy. In 2013, Lynne Handy published a novel, In the Time of Peacocks. Her poems and short stories have been published in several literary journals. Green Lady, a short story, was published in an anthology of ghost tales, Familiar Spirits. A retired library director, she lives in North Aurora, where she enjoys nature and writes poems and short stories. Tonight's reading includes poems that sing out for women's rights, as well as ekphrastic poetry inspired by a sculpture, a painting, and an ancestor's photograph. Signed copies of her novel are available tonight during the break, and I believe they're $10. Thank you. Come on up, Lynne.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I have 5 poems tonight, and I'm starting out with the group of ekphrastic poems. The first one is a statue of a seated boxer, and I need to tell you before I read it that Eryx, in case you don't know, is the name of an ancient town in Sicily. Statue of a seated boxer, the term boxer, or boxer of the coronal. The eyes are gone. Who knows if lost to thief or time? When wrested from the Roman hill, the bronze was grimed, no myrtle wreathed its massive head. The thewy form was not upright in youthful prime, but resting on a rock, older, spent, and wanting sleep. Though the boxer's eyes are peerless, it's not as if the sparrows pecked them out. No, through some misadventure the marble orbs are gone, but still the face bespeaks ordeals. The nose, a mountain range, worn flat, ears, molded lava pits, and scars, riverine, chiseled. Cheekbones, like inlaid copper planes, hair coiled and slicked with sweat beneath the Grecian sun, beard smeared with blood, torso muscled like a bull, legs like pylons, tendons tensed for yet another round, manhood infibulated, feet broad, toes thick for balance, for gripping ground. Perhaps he was ready to throw his leathers in the ring. Was this Virgil's old Entellus, who revived to pound young Dares until the fight was stopped? After smiting dead his prize, a golden bull, he cried, "Eryx, here I lay down my gauntlets and my art." The second poem is Red Lilies, and it's written from a photograph that I've looked at most of my life of my young 19-year-old great uncle who enlisted in the Union Army. Red Lilies, an elegy for Thomas Pointer Handy. Standing tall on palls of clover, he musters in at Kankakee, sleeves his wings in Union blue, and flaps off to war. Perhaps he hears a mystic chord, the drum's aortic beat, a bugle, tucket, tinning. September, the army camps on columbines and tramps on river bracken, ripped by boots and wheels and mules. Winter gloms in snow and scum, how far away is home? Gunshots hiss a man afire. Did you see that? Pop, 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 cannonball and musket fire. Cavalry beats back Company E. Bayonets smear with blood. Slicked poppies grow in willowed cricks. Mind those spikes, last cries, the ghosts that rise in smoke. Fair boys to bones, minds cracked. Lie low among the spiderwort. Aim at those gray boys, cousins some, whose blood waters the battlefields. Yet comes reveille, red lilies trumpet from the clouds. God loves him, young eagle of war, who never got to fight, but died of measles on the Ohio shore. Now a photograph, sad spirit, that a great niece, a great niece will mourn and tell good night and tuck into a poem. Now this one is lighter. You've heard of Hieronymus Bosch. Well, this is Eve in Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Delights. And if you'll recall that painting, it's a triptych of the creation on the left, downfall of man in the middle, and the hellscape on the other panel. It was painted around 1500. Eve in Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Delights. A seed flambés and pops into a pot. It is my brain awakening. 4 limbs telescope from my trunk, and breeding organs pipe pink above my viscera. Beneath my chin, a dairy barn opens. I have burst bent from bone. I am not born, nor am I made of dust. No one breathes the soul of life into my nostrils. I slide out beneath a fetid armpit to lie aground, facing rock face, he of the carapaced eye and black snake mustache. Upon rising, my eyes fall on a cesspool filled with vermin and birds, some free and good, and some encrusted with pearly lies. Formed from a sand speck that so plagued an oyster he blew his nacre. I would have run away, but where? A sleeping form bestirs, yawns, sits up, and upon seeing a gash in its side, bleats long and loud. Then from a pink monstrance where the Eucharist is kept, steps a godlike figure with butter curls and robed in robin's tongue pink. The form screams, rattle the scalloped hills, the arid lake, the blue sky, and the god wiggles his fingers to heal them. Then the form stretches out in a puppy dog way to graze God's foot. God grips my wrist and tells him this place, including me, is his dominion. I'm miffed. A murky pool beckons, a way to grow aslant with knowledge seeded, to be a fish with wings, a bird with 3 heads, a missile piercing the sky with its beak. I howl at the moon like a crockaboon. This one is different. It's not an ekphrastic poem. It's called Swash and Muzzle, and it's a feminist poem. I've wondered why I've studied so many male poets, as if women were too Eve-like, too divine, weak-minded, or insane to write on great things of humankind. Of course there was Sappho. Here and there on cartonnage we find her stanzas, but I can't recite from memory one line of her verse. Fathers of the early church, preferring women mute, besmirched her name, burned her work. I've wondered why college lit courses raked me with the phallic take on life when indisputably there were truths no men could know, like menstruation, birthing, humility, and compromise. But yet the distaff side, its cleft of wool unspun, had no outflow of thought because prideful shag-maned Leos held sway, forcing females to wait centuries to have their say. In century 15, Christine de Pizan, writer of books and poems, was vexed for her sex, widows especially, and assailed Roman de la Rose, a popular lay that portrayed women as lustful and cheap. Mixing self-deprecation with reason and rage, she civilized France. This laudable mother of sensible mien approached men aslant, not head-on, like modern mothers who are less tolerant. Harold Bloom, lit lion decider, feared the taint of outsider voices, so compiled his canon of great writers, men 22, women 4, and bounced them high on Olympian clouds, their clustered, lit-lustered, wonderful men whose purview defined fit emotion and extolled the most noble goal, war. Men only sufficiently gifted to lift the sword of metaphor. From his house of gables, Hawthorne bewailed that damned mob of scribbling women when their successes affected his sales. Wordsworth reputedly revived the English sonnet. Not so. It was Charlotte Smith. Those romantic rhymers scorned females. With upturned noses, they termed lady verse the middle order of poesy. Women's minds, a Sargasso Sea, from Pound, rabid fan of Mussolini. I sigh, wondering if in men's measure the feminine sphere contains a brain, or is sphere a metaphor for moon, ovum, or breast? I've wondered if there is a masculine sphere, but probably not. It has the wrong shape. What's kingly about a globe? Best look to a skyscraper, rocket, ship, torpedo, pine tree, piece of chalk, ray-finned gar, Cuban cigar, party hat, or asparagus stalk. And my last one, which is softer. Battle, it's called. Hard to set my grip, protect my mind with a hard hat, and flex my sex with sense and not surrender. Still he slides into the pool of me, and for a moment, while I'm on a cattail ride, I see which way that's leading, and set off to join the mob of angry mamas and claim the right-of-way, passing off on peas, the shell-outs and sell-outs, and de Pizan's ghost, her allegory of empty hopes for widows, 'cause I want to warn my captive sex. The war wears on, and temptations poof my sumptuous body like dandelions, and I am deluded by tumid water lilies, but wrench away, and broken wedlocks set me free. From the tyranny Abigail and Mary decried at Revolution's dawn, hail Seneca Falls and Elizabeth and Susan B. and Emily, and forego marriage or marry an acolyte, but freely be. Charlotte paints the yellow doom, and Margaret cheers the empty womb. Yet still, the tempting ache for hard-muscled arms. Surrender is a coward's word, love a madness begun with Eve, that muley mere on whom malefactors dump their fear. Nice is what I was trained for. Let me not play nice in this world of rape and incest and fist-demanding dominance and veils and glass ceilings and forced baby-bearing and 6-inch heels and ankle sprains. Let me not play nice in this world of screwed-over salaries and a lover critical of the length of a skirt and the need for anti-grope laws in the workplace. Bella, Germaine, and Gloria rebuked and warned. Too many women say, I don't want to sound like a feminist, but, well, sound like a feminist. Own yourself. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Push on. And you get away from me. I can't write with your hot breath on my neck.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thank you. I was lost in the moment. Sorry. Yeah. Go figure.
Maybe I should
Yeah, she was looking right at me when she said that hot breath on your neck thing, so I was intimidated. I didn't want to come up here. Any questions for Ms. Handy tonight? Frank, talk to us.
Your poetic details bring history alive. How much research and time do you spend putting this together?
I spend a great deal of time. Oh, you want me over here? Okay. Oh, really, Kevin, I'm not dangerous. I spend a lot of time on research, but then that's fun for me, both being a retired librarian and also a history major. I love it, so that's fun for me.
Anything else? Anybody? Ann?
Do the ekphrastic poems tend to just kind of, is it kind of happenstance that you see something that trips some ideas, or do you set out to find something that will inspire you to write that?
Well, recently, Frank, where are you, Frank? There you are, Frank. You're at the question asker before. Suggested that we go down to the antique store down here and find something to write about. And then I found an elephant to write about, an ivory elephant. And so, yeah, that just came up. Yeah, I just see something and I think it would be great to make a poem out of it. Yeah, thank you.
Can you explain what ekphrastic poetry is?
Thank you. I was going to ask that for the non-poets in the room. Thanks, Frank.
Well, it's when you take an image, whether like in the painting or the picture of the boxer or my great uncle, and you then develop a poem from it. What does it make you think of? I mean, the boxer, the Greek boxer, and just looking at that statue brings brought all those things up. Yeah, that's what happens.
Anybody else? Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.